Welcome to Center for Innovation Technology. This is Know Your Right. My name is Brighton Ncube. This is Know Your Right, live on Site ZW. Today on the show, I'm joined by Yield Trust Programs Officer Loretta. Loretta, good morning.
Good morning, Brighton. How are you?
I'm fine. Right, let's talk about Yield Trust. What is Yield Trust?
Okay, Yield Trust is an organization, an NGO organization. It stands for Youth-Led Innovative Engagement with Leadership and Development. It was formulated in July 2015. So we work with youth from the ages of 18 to 35.
Right, let's talk about your programming. As you're working with young people, what is your programming? What do you do as Yield Trust?
Awesome. As Yield Trust, first and foremost, we create spaces for youth, specifically safe spaces. So we have a variety of programs. And the current program that we're running with was fighting corruption and illicit financial flows. So what we did was we formulated groups within Bulawayo, identified youths within different wards from all 29 wards in Bulawayo, and the group is called Bulawayo Youth Integrity Network. So what we do is we create spaces for youths to know their right to vote, to engage the duty bearers such as the local government, the city of Bulawayo, ZAC, so that they can be able to share information with them and what really affects youth in today. And as well get responses from the local authorities, from responsible persons on how us as youths are going to function in the later or in the long run, and how we should better our environment and our societies.
Speaking of the right to vote, what's your take on the 2018 harmonized election that is in Zimbabwe? Like, let's talk about youth in participation in the elections. What's your take in terms of rights to vote?
Okay, specifically I think from all the other years, this year was quite magnificent. We had great participation, not only in the voting process itself, but initiatives that were formulated by NIO, the Leave No Youth Behind campaign. We had youths that fully participated and showed interest. So in terms of their engagement and participation, I would love to say it was very good and magnificent, although things probably didn't work to anyone's favor, but we think that youths managed to know their right and stand up and make an initiative and a change towards the environment and society. So
I was having a conversation with other people outside this show, and then they were saying, we have done many things for the youth. We have done many workshops for the youth, advocating for safer spaces, advocating for that. But where are we now? Don't you feel like we have wasted money doing these workshops and doing all those things? Where are we now? If we have to peg, where are we now in terms of progress going forward? Where are we now as youth?
I think we've made progress, Brighton, because generally I think youths have been docile for a very long time. Now they manage to engage, they know their rights, they manage to know a lot of things that they didn't know before. Youths have been classified as a vicious sector, people who are angry, people who do not even know how to engage. But nowadays we have forums where youths manage to engage peacefully and in a more educative manner because of the workshops that we have. I believe it's not generally an aspect of saying we need to change the way youths walk, the way youths do their things, but it starts in the mind. When we change the youth mind, we change our societies, we change our tomorrow. Because the belief that we run as Yield is that bad governance will never reform if you and I mind our own business. But if we engage youths, if we give them the information that they desire, it catalyzes change within our societies, and it makes us a better person and a better youth.
Right, let's speak of the vision of Yield. What is the vision of Yield? What inspired for you guys to say, okay, we are going to formulate this organization and create safer spaces for the young people? What's the vision for Yield?
Well, the reason why specifically we decided to formulate Yield is because we felt that we have a lot of innovative ideas that come from youth that are not tapped. And we felt it within ourselves that it's high time we formulate a space where we can tap good ideas and innovative ideas from the youth. So our vision specifically is for young Zimbabweans to be innovative, to engage, to lead, develop themselves in the societies as well.
Right. Let's talk about some of the programs that you do. You have youth conversations, you have Code 9 conversations, you have real debate issues, you have meeting leaders. Let's talk about these programs. What are they? What do they do? Like Code 9 conversations. What's this Code 9 conversations?
Well, Code 9 conversations, specifically now in Yield, we have what we call podcasts, where we invite youth from different spectrums, from different places. We invite poets, we invite singers, we invite people that are inspired as a youth to share their ideas about anything. Be it about youth challenges, be it about youth conversations, be it about their aspirations as youth. We invite them to come through, give them the platform to engage other youths and say what they need to say and what needs to be heard by other youths. Yeah. And then we have youth conversations. We've had a lot of workshops and platforms where youth specifically talk about all the issues that affect them. We recently had another youth conversation on 100 Days of ED in Nangaka, where we had brilliant ideas coming from youth, where we understood the aspect of youth and what they think about their nation as at large. So within those particular forums, you get a deeper understanding of how youth function. And specifically with the help of organizations like OSISA, Open Society Initiative in Southern Africa, we got sponsorship so that we can create such platforms, as well as be able to facilitate and sponsor youth that need help in certain areas. So this is what we've done so far.
Do you think as CSOs and Bula are moving in the right directions in terms of creating safe spaces, in terms of advocating for the rights of young people, in terms of also advocating for the rights of women? Because the girl child has been neglected over the years.
Yeah.
So are we moving in the right track? Where are we in terms of at the CSOs, in terms of creating safe spaces?
I think we're not yet there. We can't clap hands for ourselves yet, but I think it's a good start. Why? Because people now know about CSOs. CSOs are more liberal than any other entity. People are able to identify CSOs that we engage with. We talk about sexual rights, we talk about homosexuality, we talk about other facets that affect the youth of nowadays, identity crisis issues. Youths are able to rather approach certain CSOs, approach certain people that know that if I approach this particular person or organization, I'm in a safe space. So that is a good start, that is a good initiative. What's clear for us is probably to engage more, to have a deeper understanding of the youth that we work with and our society at large. Because when we work with youth, we need to understand their environment, their perspectives, and what affects them in the long run.
Later on, I was talking about the issue of Makokova. I wanted to see what Makokova eco-safe, the stereotype, also eco-safe, the space eco-safe, they safe. So you've been taking your workshops to those areas, like go to take the workshop to a culture back, to Makokova, to deep areas. In Bulawayo, we're going to teach Amanda about this program that we're doing. Okay.
So far, we haven't gone to Makokova, but we've been places like Ngeta and Tilomani, where we had a declaration from our very own councillor who manages to work with us as Youth Councillor Jele. So we managed to identify a few youths within those places that do not know about Yield or BUPRA or any other organization that need to be reached out to. The reason being is because the problem that we have as youth organizations, we target people within the CBD. We don't go like in the far routes and identify different people, because the assumption is all youths are educated, which is not true. So we need to engage people from Makokova. This is what all CSOs need to do. Beyond the general level of saying we identify university students, we identify people within the CBD, I think it's important for us to identify even people in different areas like Makokova and other places, so that we can get an understanding and appreciation of how they view the nation and understand their problems at large.
But now let's speak about holding our leaders into account, and also transparency. As Yield, how have you been lobbying or other youth, engaging other youth, how can you hold your councillor accountable or your MP accountable? Councillor, you're supposed to do 8%. If you fail to do these things, you must come and address us. Or create this dialogue between the councillor and the youth.
Okay.
What have we been doing as Yield?
That's a good one, Brighton. Like on the 25th of May, we had what we call a public dialogue, supported by OSISA again, the fight against corruption and illicit financial flows. We managed to invite the Councillor Jele, we managed to invite Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, we managed to invite other university leaders and students within different areas, where we had a lot of youths, even youths, some guys from youth came through and other youths that managed to engage, and we had a question and answer forum section where youths had the ability to ask questions specifically to that, to ask them, what have you done about this? What have you done about that? We realized that there have been issues that have been raised over the long run. What have you done as a Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission? And surprisingly, it was a good engagement where we had ZEC managing to respond to the youth, although some of them weren't as satisfied. So those are the initiatives that youth have, Yield rather, has managed to create so that youth can respond. And secondly, like, we think it's a good initiative to put our own very own councillors that we deal with in a level of accountability and transparency, where Councillor Jela managed to declare his assets, to say these are my assets, and we have the declaration of assets, we have everything. So in that very same manner, we think it's a good start to say we think JD has to be accountable and transparent of his assets as a councillor. So that gives the youth that leverage and power to say we think our initiatives, our strength is being realized at some point. So we're engaging the local authorities. And we've been encouraging most youths to attend Bulawayo City Council monthly meetings so that they can understand the budget within City Council and they can understand the initiatives that need to be done and within the Bulawayo.
Right. So if you're just joining us, I'm still joined by Loretta from You Trust. My name is Brighton at the B Factor, Brighton Ncube. This is Center for Innovation and Technology. This is not your right. Right, Loretta, let's talk about youth inclusion and youth participation. In 2018 harmonized election, what's your take in terms of youth participation? Not just we are balance EPVR, not just we are Panama poster, but in terms of real participation as an Uber candidate.
Okay.
What's your take on what's your perspective? What team participation in terms of running as candidates?
I think my perception towards that is the youths are taking a great stand. Like, it's a good initiative. We had a lot of youths within Bulawayo and outside Bulawayo who managed to campaign, like to say, I want to be a councillor, I want to be an MP, I want to be this. That Brighton shows that youths are taking a stand. Yeah. It's a great start. Although some of them didn't manage to be voted in, but I think it gives oomph and zeal to other youths that need to go out, that need to be known by the public to say, I still think beyond my age and my capabilities, I have the right to campaign, I have the right to say this is what I want to be. And beyond that, we had a lot of youth supporting the other youth, right? And we think we had greater forums where youth got a deeper understanding of how parliament and politics functions. Because we generally think for a youth to participate in such forums, they have to have a deeper understanding of how all things run in general. And more effectively with the youth, we had a youth campaign, like a cleanup campaign. We had a massive turnout where youth came and they wore t-shirts saying, "Go leave no youth behind. Your vote is your right." Where people were actively engaging. People were asking questions. What is this? What should we do? We need our children to also be part of this. What can we do? So basically, I think this year was a good year in terms of the youths. We managed to turn out and be who we are and show people that we have the power and the capability within ourselves.
There's a book by Chinua Achebe that says "No Longer at Ease." The book resonates with the modern day youth of Zimbabwe because of corruption. Go to a graduate, but you can't get employed because of a corrupt system. Everything's corrupt in our country. Let's talk about financial flows and listen to what corruption.
Yeah.
But how, in terms of irresponsibility, I want to talk about in terms of holding those leaders' account. Corruption, Zimbabwe, corruption.
I do.
How do you account? Like, really, everything is corrupt in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So how do you motivate someone let's go and hold A, B, C, and D account to demand what you call this assets, councillors must declare the assets. How do you hold the councillor account to declare your assets? How do you tell them or unemployed, a graduate, in a corrupt system whereby everyone from the top to down, they're corrupt? How do you motivate them to go out there and participate in terms of your community and hold your leaders accountable?
Okay, I like the fact that you refer to a certain book, because I will refer to another one in response. There is Taiwo Olufemi who speaks that Africa must be modernized.
Yeah.
Like, it says that Africa, as much as it was colonized, there are certain aspects that they have to adopt from the Western countries, enact them so that they can develop and be modernized. Same with us as youth. There are certain things that we have to adopt and certain things that we don't have to adopt. For instance, corruption. Corruption is affecting everyone.
Yeah.
And it's very hard for me to come to you, Brighton, and say, $100, I give you $100, and they say, go and buy what you want. Don't change it. Don't burn it. It's very difficult because of the situation that we're in. It starts in the mind, like I said before. Like, I think when we conscientize this, that corruption is like this and it affects you in return, it gets a youth or any particular person to have an understanding that if I'm doing this, I'm doing it the wrong way and I have to do it the right way. It's a pity that it's very, very difficult. I'll be lying to you to say that corruption is an easy thing to get rid of. But I think when we start and create conversations, sustained conversations that continuously remind youth that there is corruption and corruption is affecting you as a graduate. You've graduated, it's been 5 years. You don't have a job, you have to know someone, you have to do this, you have to give them money to get a job. That is so wrong at like the highest level. But there's nothing that we can do except changing the mindset of the youth. The reason being is because we're creating the society to benefit our youth for the future. And we don't want us as youth to have the mindset to say, when I want something, I have to be as corrupt as possible. So it might not change now, but in the long run, it might change because we are creating an inception to say youth have to have a mindset that says you have to be a better person, you have to change your society. It begins with you. Bad but governments can never reform if you and me mind our own business. So we have to do something about it, and it begins with us. Yeah.
In some of your youth conversations, what are some of the questions that have been asked by people in terms of corruption and ultimately as accounting, financial flows? What are some of the questions that have been asked by young people?
Oh, more specifically with reference to the dialogue, a question is asked, how are you as ZAC holding the top officials accountable with regards to the embezzlement of funds, with regards to the monies, 15 billion and all that? All those questions came forth, like youths need answers. And I believe that the responses weren't fulfilling per se, but they were a lead to say this is what's happening and this is what's at stake. But you could tell that youths are not satisfied because this is their life, this is their money. I mean, things can't just disappear and we all keep quiet. I think it's high time us as the youths take a stand. I don't know what's really affecting us as youths not to have the ability to stand outright and say this is what we want and demand change. But it's something that we need to learn as the youth of Zimbabwe. Take for instance the youth of South Africa, like the fees must fall down. They didn't, like, they grouped together and ran with the same vision and focus to say this is what we want. And surprisingly, things did change. I don't know, I think the youth of Zimbabwe have to develop a culture of change to say we want change, we work for it, we do something about it. We just don't meet, have workshops, eat, get money.
However, someone who can argue and say the youth of, like, let's talk about Bulawayo.
Yeah. We
are working in silos. We don't want to work together and achieve common ground. So we may be doing something similar to what I'm doing, but doing it in silo, and I'm doing Mapekalen. Can you come together and work as one and achieve the common ground? What's the challenge there? Where are we lacking in terms of working together? Because we are also chasing the same
vision,
same target, but we're failing to work together. Where are we missing it?
I think, Brighton, where we're missing it is we don't understand that we have a common vision. Yeah. We want to work in a singular form to say, you know, Yield has made it more than Heat, Heat has made it more than any other organization, but that's not how it's supposed to work. I think we should have a certain or common ground as all youth organizations, women organizations, human rights organizations, so that we understand and make a way forward. Probably have a national agenda. We have a lot of national agendas that are going forward, but we don't see like the physical aspect of this is the fruit of the national agenda. I mean, recently we had a communique that was released in Harare under NIO. That's a very good cause. I think it's time for youth organizations, women organizations to meet up, read the youth communique, understand it, and formulate programs that support each other in the long run. That might help us as organizations.
But as you also had an event, I think it was a National Art Gallery.
Yes.
By giving awards, something like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that event.
Awesome. That event was called Law and Policy Reform Challenge. So it was supporting the illicit and financial flow program. So that program specifically was targeting youth within different institutions so that they can come up with policies that can be later presented to the local authorities to say these are the policies that have been formulated by the youths. So as much as Bulawayo City Council or any other local authority formulate their own policies, they should incorporate the ideas of the youth. So we thought to ourselves, well, why not include the ideas of the youth? To say, we think you can better address corruption and illicit financial flows when you enact and probably identify the ideas that come from the youth and possibly give it a try to see whether or not it's going to help. So from that, we took all their policies, formulated them into one policy, and we're yet to present them to the local authorities, even ZAC as well, so that they can have a read-through on what the youths want. Well, doesn't present for the majority, but the minority that we had.
Right. So as a young person, I want to know about the youth conversations, Core 9 conversations, related to emerging leaders. And where does Yield have some publications or written documents where I can go and look out for this information? Is there a kind of reports?
Sure. We have podcasts. You can go to our Twitter account at yield.co.zw. You can go to our Facebook page at Yield 2018 as well. You can go to all those platforms. We have podcasts that have been released. We have articles that have been written by youths that volunteer to write articles and other youths that we work with. Towards the Semabena managed to write a variety of articles about emerging leaders, articles about corruption and illicit financial flows and what we have done as Yield. And Alfred Majani as well has managed to write a few articles on Yield and youth conversations. So if you visit those sites, you are able to understand where yield is and what we've done.
Right, you spoke about the power of volunteerism.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people volunteer, some people they volunteer, but they think down there's paid voluntary work, there's unpaid voluntary work. What is what?
Okay.
Let's talk about the power of volunteerism.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, Brighton, I won't lie to you, power of volunteerism is really high.
Yeah.
The reason being is we don't get the same opportunities as youths.
Mm-hmm.
We can't sit down at home and wait to get a good paying job.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, that won't work. I've been working for Yield for like how many years now? 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was voluntary. We've come this far on voluntary basis, and the advantage of that is growth.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Yield. And secondly, it's experience. Nowadays, all job articles like, okay, we need 5 years experience.
Yeah.
And where are you going to get it if you sit at home? I think youths should take the initiative to say, beyond money, this is what I love doing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's work for our nation. Let's work to build ourselves as a youth so that we can have a better society as well. So I don't think volunteerism is as bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good start. It's a good initiative. It makes you know people. It makes you network and know different people in different areas.
Right, I'm a youth seated home watching this show, and then I want to be part of your trust.
Mm-hmm.
How do I be part of your trust? How do I become part of this conversation that we're having?
Okay.
How do I contribute to the articles that we're having, to part of these workshops? How do I get in touch with you guys?
All right. So Yield offices are located in corner 9th Avenue in Hebechitepo, in Bulawayo, in office number 7, ground floor. So you can come see me, Loretta Sithole, and we have Nombilo Nkomo, and Thabo Dube, and Sindiso Dlamini. So you come to us, tell us your idea. We do not send anyone away.
Mm-hmm.
We believe in cooperation, in creating and sustaining conversations and innovative ideas.
Mm-hmm.
We embrace your idea. We help you achieve what you want to achieve if we can. We make you be known. We have podcasts, we have forums for articles where you can write your article and we help you publish it and help you be known. And in terms of workshops, our workshops are open to anyone. You can attend as much as you want.
Right, Loretta, it's been nice hanging out with you.
Okay.
What's your parting shots to young people sitting at home? How can you inspire them? What are your parting shots? What are your words of advice to young people? And what can you expect from Yield in 2019?
Okay. Well, my words of advice to the youth of nowadays is be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fear change. Engage. Do not underestimate yourself. You are dynamite wherever you are.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait for the government. Don't wait for the next person to tell you who you are or to tell you what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you want. You know what you love. Take a stand and initiative and be the change that you want to see. Yeah.
Right. Isaac, be the change that you want to see, and we're all dynamites. My name is Brighton. This has been lovely. This is Site ZW, and also I was hanging out with Loretta Sithole on Know Your Right. Till next time, do follow us on Twitter, Site ZW, and do follow them on Twitter at Yield ZW, right?
Yes.
And do follow me on Twitter, and the Root Effector. Till next time, goodbye.